What is up, everybody, and welcome back to what is the second episode of this PSGL series. If you didn't see the first one, make sure you go check it out. We were in Japan, and as you can see here, we got P8 after a pretty crazy race. I think there was 4 safety cars, and our race kind of got undone coming into the last chicane. We were doing great. We were in P8, fighting for P7, and then we got smacked in the rear, spun us around, and that pretty much caused a bunch of carnage for the rest of the race. We also got hit in the rear under the safety car, and it all went SHIT, hit the fan pretty much. And we did manage to recover a P8. I reckon it could have potentially been a top 5. I mean, we finished, I think, P6 on track, but after penalties we dropped back to P10, and then other people in front got penalties, so we went back up to P8. I felt like it was a missed opportunity, though. It was certainly a chance for a potential top 5, top 6, and qualifying seems to be my kryptonite once again. As you can see, the Mercedes, I don't know what he was doing there. He was just chilling on the inside. That distracted us a little bit, so we've lost time through there, losing time at the exit of the hairpin, and this qualifying lap isn't the greatest. Like I was saying, qualifying is a big problem for me, and we just want to get a banker time on the board, so we're going to try and avoid track limits. And there you go, that's the classic Bamford MB we know, getting track limits on a hot lap and getting no time on the board. But we are on our second push lap, and this has got to work. If we don't get this down, it's going to come down to our final push lap to try and get a decent time on the board. As you look at the top left, we're about 8 tenths up on P14, which looks good, but I don't think it's that great compared to everybody else. It's not been the best of laps, as we almost get track limits again, and we're trying it. Oh my goodness me, we're just trying to keep it in the track limits. I'm trying to recover as much time as possible, because I know the first and second sector could have been better, and it feels like an okay lap. But as we come up to the line, you can see the time ticking in the top right, and it's a 21.6 up to P7. And I was a little bit shocked, because I was able to do, I think my best was a 21.0 in practice. So I was kind of hoping for a low 21, at least as well for a banker lap, a low 21. So now we've put some pressure on us going into the final lap, as it's way too narrow there for the first corner. And I mean, this first sector, we have to lift here just to stay inside track limits. And we've already lost a 1/10.5 on a sector that wasn't our greatest anyway. I mean, we still got another couple corners to go in this sector, but we're missing the apex, and it's just a poor lap. We're 2.5 tenths down in what was a poor sector the first time around. So this is an absolute stinker. We do recover some time on the exit of the hairpin, but we've got a lot to do. Our teammate is only in P12. So right now, and someone about, I think it is P12 and P13 for both Haas cars. We're in P13. This is stinky. This is shocking. And we're about a 1/10.5 we need to find in this last sector. And these next 3 corners are all flat out. I think there is a little bit of time, especially on this last one, as we had a bit of a moment. And on this fast left-hander, the penultimate corner, that's a lot better. That's a big correction. And we don't get dinged for track limits. We probably should have. But we were a little slower through there. Around the final corner, we find a bit of time, but it's not going to be, well, it's going to be a little bit gained. Thousandths we've gained, but it's not going to change anything on our position. P14. I've had a howler. I've had an absolute howler. Our teammate is starting P13, and it's a bit of a stinker for Haas today. I mean, you look, the 2 Red Bulls locking out the front row, P1 and P2, and I mean, I thought we were done with Red Bull domination, at least in the virtual world, but no. In real life and in the virtual world, Red Bull are dominating, which is a little frustrating, but we're down in row number 7. Haas has locked out, which is not ideal at all, and we're going to have to try and make our way through the field and hopefully score some points. I thought I was actually going to have decent pace here in Qatar, but clearly not. Clearly not at all, as we're preparing our strategy. We're going to go from the hards to the mediums. We want to do a little different. I think people are going to be starting on the softs and the mediums. It is high tyre wear around here, as it's 5 red lights, and we are underway here in Qatar. What a start that is compared to the Aston Martin up in front. See you later, mate. It's P12 and P13 for the 2 Haas cars. We're on the charge as we're going to go down the inside of our teammate. It's late on the brakes. I mean, That's poor. That is poor. I've had a nightmare. And Unusual Peter is out of the session as well. I think he had a moment in turn 3. He had contact with someone, maybe got hit from behind. But we're going to have a look at this again. So we get a fantastic launch. Look at that. See you later to the Aston. On the hard tyres we are. Our teammate is going to go down the inside of the Williams. We're going to try and go down the inside and make it 3 wide. That's on me. That's on me. I mean, I've got no complaints. That's pretty much all my fault. And to be honest, I should have just tucked behind my teammate, or at least been a lot more cautious in the turn 1. It's turn 1. Why am I going so deep on the brakes when it's making it 3 wide? I mean, I was looking at it and it was just a really poor mistake from me. And as you can see, we're about 5.5 seconds behind the pack. And yeah, it's at this point, it's just, let's just drive. Let's try and catch up to the back of the pack. As you can see, we are slowly catching up to the Aston Martin, who's about a second in front. And we just got to try and get in that DRS. Once we get in that DRS, we got that long straight. The long pit straight in Qatar will give you a lot of time if you're in that DRS. And look how close we are. We make a mistake and we have to try and we miss out. We miss out. I mean, we made that mistake on that fast left-hander and that's cost us on DRS down this straight. As you can see, the AlphaTauri in the wall. We'll take that. It's a free place. We're up to P14 now. And up ahead, there's a big gap between the Aston Martin and the McLaren up ahead. So we are about, I would say, 10 seconds or 8 to 10 seconds away from points right about now. And we're losing time to the Aston Martin in front on the mediums. I don't understand it. I know on this game, as you have a big moment right there. On this game, once you hit 25%, the tyres just change. They just melt. And I can't figure it out. The guy in front is on the medium tyres. I'm on the hard tyres. He should be falling back into us. But no, our hards are gone. I can't believe it. We're on lap 13. We've lost like another 5-6 seconds to him. And it's not down to pace because the first 5-6 laps we were chasing him, we're about 3-4 tenths quicker than him, and we were closing in. We were 5.5 seconds behind, and then all of a sudden we were about 1.1 second behind. The moment we hit 25%, we drop like a stone. And maybe it's just I'm not used to driving on higher tyre wear, and I need to start driving more to get used to it. But you can see it's now at like 50%, and we're just struggling so much. It's literally like driving on ice. And I think it is just either one, my setup isn't very good, or 2, I'm just not used to driving on these type of tyres and my confidence is low. I mean, I have zero confidence on these tyres going around these corners because I feel like I have zero grip and I feel like I'm going to lose the rear almost at every corner. And we're over halfway into the race. There's no safety car, which is unusual. There's always safety cars in these PSGL races. And we've got the net race leader behind us in Criflum. In the Red Bull, we've got both Red Bulls behind us. And this is the only bit of racing we get to do as we come into the hairpin. And you see we lose the rear there and we have to go wide and see you later, mate. I mean, we weren't going to put up much of a fight anyway because we didn't want to ruin his race. As soon as he got right in our rear, we were pretty much going to let him through. But it is just frustrating to have no tyres under you at all and to be struggling this much. I mean, I understand tyre wear, it's a thing, but we've lost 10.5 seconds to the Aston in front, and with no safety cars as well, it is a pain in the arse. And I mean, we've pretty much just got to do our race, pray for a safety car, pray for something to bring us back in this race, because we might be P8 now, and just to rub salt in the wounds, we get a penalty. This is not a fun race, and it's a race that I want to retire from, but you never know in F11 PSGL. There's always a chance for a safety car. That's why we're going long. We're hoping for a safety car. But in hindsight, we probably should have pit the previous lap because the worse the tyres get, the more likely we are to go wide and pick up the track limit penalties, which we have as the other Red Bull goes down the inside and we see you later to you as well. And we are actually going to come into the pits on lap 17, and look at us just drop down the order. I mean, we're already P13 and we haven't even put on the new set of tyres yet. That's how far behind we are for a potential points finish. We are miles behind. It is crazy. And we actually might come out just ahead of Villarreal, Andy, and the Aston Martin of Storm as well. These guys are all involved in lap 1 incidents as well, I believe. So they're all down here because they got spun or because they crashed, not because they're a bad driver. So all of us down here because of lap 1 incidents, and we haven't been able to close on him because there's been no safety car, no VSC. So we've all been kind of running our own races, but at least we do have 2 people behind us that are going to try and close down into us and give us a bit of a race towards the end. As up to the line here, you can see purple sector 1, purple sector 2. Go on then, we'll take fastest lap. We'll take it for a little bit. A 23.6, that is going to be beaten. I can assure you of that. And it did get beaten, I think, the very next lap. But we held it for a lap, so we're going to be proud of that one. As once again we get another time penalty, and it's just gone downhill. 6 seconds worth of penalties we have, and you can see with 3 laps to go or 2 laps to go, the Williams has caught up and is in our DRS. And the reason for this is we have a bit of fuel problem. You see in the bottom right, it's 0.1, and around here you lose about 0.1 to 0.15 per lap, I would say, of fuel. So we have been fuel saving, lifting at the end of the straights, and we're going to do it once again. We've got a bit of a margin to the Williams, so we're going to lift just a little bit into this corner. Not much though, as we're trying to stay ahead and not let him pass, because a bit of racing, why not? Let's have a bit of racing towards the end of the Grand Prix. We do have to lift into the corners. We want to be able to go guns blazing into the final lap, so we're going to try and lift everywhere possible beforehand, as we do lift into that corner as well. And I believe we might lift into the hairpin, or is he too close? We don't want to risk getting overtaken. We lift just a little bit, but we are holding on firm to this P13. No safety car this whole race, which is a little bit surprising to me. You can see at the bottom right, it is 0.06. We're going to need at least one more lift into this first corner. I think, well, we've got the time. Look at that, 0.9 seconds, 0.8 seconds to the Williams. It's going to be a big old lift into turn 1. It's a huge lift, and now he's right at our tail. But I tell you what, I think that might just about get us to the end of the Grand Prix without having to do any more fuel saving. 0.09. We just don't want to lose fuel, especially up to the line, because it is a long run to the line, and he will have DRS on us. So we've got to make sure we stay ahead, but at the same time, we want to make sure we have the fuel, as I think, no, we don't lift into the hairpin. I think we're confident now, so we're going to try and push on and break a little bit of a gap to the Williams. If he stays within range, if he's within 2 tenths, 3 tenths around that final corner, he will get us up to the line, because he will have DRS. He will be able to dump his ERS as well, and he should just about be all right, because we're low on ERS as we go wide into that corner. And you can see he's right on our tail. He's 2 tenths. He's going to go side by side with us if he gets close enough. Around the outside, the Williams is going to go. We hold on to the inside. We've got a lap car up in front. That's distracted me a little bit. Is he going to go? Oh, he's sent it down the inside. What's he doing? He's gone round. We've held on to the position. It is P12. It wasn't a lap car. It was actually Aston Martin. I think he's had a moment and he's dropped down the order. So we're going to take P12 here in Qatar. And I don't know what the Williams was doing, going down the inside into the high-speed corner. It was more of a desperation move. But I feel like if he just sat behind me, he could have maybe got me up to the line. We're going to have a look at it again. What did he actually do? So we've got the inside. Obviously, we've got that corner. He's tucked in right behind. I think because we go a little bit wide here, he thinks he has a chance, but you don't send one down the inside in a high-speed corner. He was never making the corner. He forced us wide. I mean, we saw him coming with the red arrow, so I turned away from the corner and I still got hit. You're going to see here. See, I was turning in. I turned away because I saw him go down, and he actually cut the corner and just hit us. I mean, he was never making that, so I don't know quite what he was doing there, but I think it was more out of desperation, and neither of us are in for the points anyway, so it's not too big of a deal. It is going to be a P12, and it's a very disappointing weekend. We weren't in the points at any point. It was a poor qualifying, an awful start, and from there on it was just a long race, and to pick up 0 points is a bit gutting. But we stay at P9, so we're still inside the top 10 for the drivers' standings, and our teammate picks up a P7 with Crifflam in the Red Bull getting a P1, and you can see Icewind as well. He's up there in P2 in the standings, and I reckon this is going to be a good title fight. We've got quite a few that are all on the pace with each other, but for Haas, P5 in the constructors standings, and we've got a lot of work to do if we want to make our way up the leaderboard. I think top 4 might be the goal, because the top 2, they're miles ahead already, and McLaren have Chalad, who's got podiums in the first 2 races, so I think the goal is to try and get P4 in the standings. Our teammate's got a double points finish and we kind of let him down here in Qatar. Next time out in Hungary, it's not my best circuit, but we'll try and pick up a few points there and see what we can do. Make sure you guys go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time for the next PSGL video. Peace.